Hello, I'm Lieutenant Host Eric with the Type Police, and we got a potentially live wire situation here. I'm going to tell you why. This gentleman says he thought he was an INFJ, and he was typed by objective type in, whatever that thing's called. That's Dave Superpower's thing, right? And you learn that he's not an INFJ. Well, we will have an opportunity here today to check Dave Superpower's work and find out if he is, in fact, correct. Now, he should be still correct most of the time about typing people because he's not totally off base with everything he's saying. Lots of stuff he's saying makes perfectly good sense, and his focus on empirics is not a bad move, although I think he's got his faith on the wrong horse there. But regardless, it's also the case that he's necessarily going to make some mistakes. Even if he spends an hour or two typing somebody, he'll make mistakes because he's wrong in certain areas, and thus that wrongness will infect the typology process and cause deformed, mutated, non-viable offspring. Okay, let's begin this episode of what, Eric? What's it called? Is it called The Riperies? No, it's not. It's called Take Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police. Welcome back to Riperies. Let's see what he has to say.
I might not be an INFJ. Really, I might not be. I also might be. I don't know. The point of this video is to say that I'm looking to discover more of the possibility of not being a certain personality type or being that and confirming it. I think it's interesting to think that I could have been wrong and putting out videos on YouTube and giving advice on being such a thing if I'm not. And it's a little...
Okay, look. Who cares if you're wrong about this? Like, I mean, obviously, I care if I'm wrong. I got shit tons of videos where I say shit tons of wrong ass stuff. It took me a couple of years to figure out what I was talking about, you know? You gotta kiss a lot of frogs before one of them turns into a prince. Same thing is the case with, assuming you want to make a prince. If you want to make a princess, you gotta kiss goats. A little known fact. But regardless, same thing is true with understanding something like cognitive functions, which is kind of a weird sort of thing, right? It's this region of rhetorical tools, basically, or discursive tools would be a better way to put it. This satchel of discursive tools that has not attained a consensus optimized form yet. So it's still being massaged out by various people in different ways. You got all these people going like, well, I think it should be like this, I think it should be like this, I think it should be like this. I'm one of those people saying I think it should be like this. I'm right, everybody else is wrong. But so does everybody else thinks that too, you know? The point is, the biggest wrongness possible almost about it is to think that your wrongness is a matter of concern, because we're all still working out the the most the the most elegant understanding of the basic idea. I got a little sidetracked. Let's see. Let's let him continue.
It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside that, well, I can admit to that and own it, or I can shut down my YouTube channel completely and start over from scratch. I'm not going to do that, obviously. That's a lot of work. No, I think it could be a fun and interesting lesson. Long story short, I've signed up for the objective personality typing course, class, whatever it's called. If you watch a lot of these videos on YouTube for personality type, you might be aware of Dave Superpowers, the YouTube channel. Snarky folks over there, they like to put out these fresh and funny takes on personality typing and Myers-Briggs and cognitive functions by, a la Jung. Every time I say that name, I'm going to do that. Jungian, Jungin, Jungian, Young. So anyways, I've been looking into this objective type stuff, kind of just digesting it over the last few months. Maybe actually since I started this YouTube channel with the personality stuff anyways. I've been making notes. This is how you know I'm serious. I wrote stuff down and just going over it and processing it and trying to study this stuff in the wild and see what I might perceive other people's types to play out as. What's really cool about this is the objective type stuff is taking the kind of the popular Myers-Briggs stuff, breaking it down to the cognitive functions and really looking at it in a scientific and objective way.
No, they're not. Those two things are separate. Like, in this instance, they may be attempting to use empirics. That doesn't make it more objective, or it may make it more sciencey, but I don't know what being sciencey is worth. The thing that makes it more correct, ultimately, is its robustness as a model. And they've got deep flaws in their model. So, or he does. So, I so strongly encourage, gosh, would I love this. Dave Superpowers, come in here and fucking debate me, for God's sake. Here I am trashing your shit, left and right. Come tell me I'm wrong. Come tell everybody why you're right. C.S. Joseph. The tender damps of your vaginal cavity are beginning to annoy me. Why aren't you in here arguing with me, ENTP? I'm over here trashing your shit. Hello? It's not like I got 50 subscribers. I may not be as big as you guys, but I still have some reach within the community in terms of a voice that, I'm over here saying you guys are wrong completely and nobody should pay attention to you. If you were saying that about me in videos and I was made aware of it at some point, I'm pretty sure at least C.S. Joseph is aware of my trashing and shit. I would be there to argue with you or ask you to please argue with me about this. It would be common courtesy to be responsive to your gauntlet throw. I don't know. they're full of tender dampenings. All right, let's watch this.
Meaning, they're looking to prove this personality stuff in a way that can be scalable to lots and lots and lots of people for decades and maybe centuries to come, until we can all plug ourselves into a computer and just be like, oh,
Those big wrongnesses are going to cause them a problem.
I'd like to be a part of it, so I'm, I guess, going to do my part in trying to figure out this stuff, and it's really hard to type yourself. It's really, really hard, especially if you're doing what they do, and breaking down the cognitive functions and looking at them.
Okay, well, what type are you then?
Little tiny piece by little tiny piece, and the way these little pieces play together in one way or the other, there's just so many variables, and to be objective with yourself is probably impossible. But if you can have enough context and enough people to be friends enough to yell at you and say, nope, that's not how you are, you do this, you might be able to get it. And I think that's what they're preaching too. I think they call it triangulation, being able to take kind of this point, this point, this point, and find the kind of the, you know, something.
First of all, you might very well be an INFJ. I don't know what type you claim to be yet, because you're not telling us what you think you are instead of an INFJ. I think you're probably not an INFJ. You kind of seem SFP to me. But you might be ISFP. I don't know. But I'll watch more of it. The point is, they don't have things defined properly, because the way they have things defined creates contradictions, and it makes the model have to do all these concentric circle adjustments, which is to say, it's insanely complicated with hundreds of subtypes and stuff, or shit tons of subtypes anyway, and doppelganger types, and a lot of other unnecessary complications that make it less effective and less descriptive as a discursive tool set. So what you should be looking for here is not, wow, they're so great, they try to make self-reporting less subject to FI bias. You should say, wow, great, they've avoided self-reporting entirely. That would be better. Now, you can't really do that and have a standardized test. You can't avoid self-reporting entirely. But what you can do is render the self-reporting aspect of things less of a consideration in the equation. So there are certain kinds of assessments you can do on that will reveal the comfort level with the given function. TI, for example, can be tested with logic questions. Any is something you can easily test if you're talking to somebody. It's difficult to test on a standardized fill in the blanks kind of test, you know. It's difficult in general to test functions except for TI, really, directly. I'm getting sidetracked again. I'm tired, like I said. I'm a little scattered right now.
I think within that realm is kind of what's going on, you know? Anyways, so that's kind of where I'm at with this stuff. I haven't posted in a while. I am hoping to post more soon. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think I'm going to say that I'm going to post anything anytime next few days, but you never know, right? So, I might not be an INFJ. I might be a subtype of like several I don't remember, is there like, I don't remember the number, but I know there's more than a few types of each type that these folks have figured out. I think they broke it out to 500 and something different personality types.
How can we account for these inconsistencies? We apply our model and we keep getting these inconsistencies. Oh gosh, well, we know our model's correct, so we can explain it with this weird additional extra burdensome subtype mechanism. Okay, well then we have this other problem here. This type looks like what you'd think it'd be like. This is a INFJ, but then according to our model, they should be ISFJ and... Okay, well then there's a subtype of INFJ that looks exactly like an ISFJ. Okay? That's why. It's so idiotic. 500 somewhat subtypes. Tigger, please. It's not an effective means of parsing anything. It's not an effective means of taxonomy in anything. It's not an effective means of having a discursive tool at your disposal that you can use in the world to understand others or yourself. Because it's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous, like if I were to say, well, why do fires burn? Because there are spots in the universe where God becomes angry, is my answer. And then I give you a whole bunch of link stories to how it is that I know this. Well, because I've divided all of the universe's space into 4 different kinds of God emotion. Disinterest, anger, blah, 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 blah. And then each of those are divided into... And you go, hold on. None of that establishes your central claim in the first place. And since your central claim keeps running afoul of complications that require these additional link chains in the link story, shouldn't you have jettisoned this garbage? It's like if I run a test on a thing that's supposed to make this oatmeal taste sweeter, and I put it in, and it does make it taste sweeter, but it also makes it taste like poo, like sweet poo, like the smell of poo. So you go, I'm really happy with the sweetening properties of this. So maybe now what I need to do is invent a poo removing thing. That I put that in it and it'll remove the flavor of poo. And then that one puts in the flavor of vomit. So, okay, now I need a vomit removing thing. The problem is, your sweetener's not gonna work. It may make things sweeter, but it also makes them taste like poo. You're gonna need to use a different sweetener. Trying to jury-rig your way out of the fundamental failure of your initial thing by making all these adaptations, well, that just is evidence that your initial thing is stupid in the first place. It doesn't work, or else you wouldn't have to make all those adaptations. So don't listen to those people. Whatever your name is, trickyrickyii, trickyrickyii, or is it trickyrickyii? Trickyrickyii. It might be trickyrickyii. You might be an INFP. You might be an ISFP. You don't seem like an INFJ. I'm not seeing a lot of FE, really. I mean, you're sort of FEing, like, I'm kind of embarrassed because I was wrong, and I have to figure out what to do with it. That could be it's hard to say in this video. Let's continue.
On a wide spectrum. If you are one of the 16 types, I think it is, for Myers-Briggs, basically those are clusters, and each of those clusters has so many variants within. It's cool stuff. It's very interesting. If you haven't checked out Dave Superpowers, look at their YouTube channel. Find them funny, because if you don't, you're probably doing it wrong. You know, they like to point out what I think are the truth of different personality types and behaviors, and low battery warnings. Yeah, that's what I got there. Check it out. It's very cool, very interesting stuff.
So what type
of website too? I think it's subjectivepersonality.com. I don't know. I'll put it in the description below. So if you want to stay for the ride and see if I am an INFJ or if I'm not an INFJ, and if I am, what subtype might I be, and if I'm not, what the heck have I been deceiving myself from being all these years? We'll see, guys. My hint, I'll put a little bit out there. I think there's something to be said for this idea of I don't have a term for it, but if you think of the functions, the four functions that introvert intuition, extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, extroverted sensing, I feel like there's something going on with me as far as what are actually my favors, which are actually my demons, which ones I use by default without even realizing it sometimes, maybe most of the times, and which ones do I try to use and be good at. I think there's something there, and I also think the idea of always being an INFJ who always is using NI, then FE, then TI, then SE in that order doesn't.
Okay, so
Makes sense. So I really like the way that they break it down as far as secrets of demons. So that's some cool stuff. And then also, you might even rely on your third function before your second function. That's cool stuff to look at. And to think about how it plays out. So we'll see. If you guys have any thoughts, if you're in the class and you are looking to type any movie,
okay, I mean, the relationship between the third and second function is not. It's not. I guess there's a sequential aspect to it, like you'll use your third after usually, but it's very plausible to pay attention via both modalities concurrently. In other words, I'm currently doing TI parsing on what you're saying and pointing out that it's wrong, but I'm trying to present it in a way that makes me seem reasonable and decent and not just trying to throw out claims without warranting them in any sense. I'm trying to come across as at least fair and more likely to be correct than the party I'm critiquing. Whether or not I'm successful at that, that's something that's probably best determined by people other than me for FE, you know. Regardless,
I'm okay being a guinea pig with that, I guess. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Comment below. Subscribe if you want to stick around for the ride, and we'll see what happens. So I realized that I am... Well, okay, first off, I'm in the middle of editing video that I just recorded that I'm going to put online. On YouTube shortly. I am so distracted by my dog tonight. I have it. Hey, good boy, what are you doing? He wants his toy. It's under my foot. Okay, let's see. So I realized... Oh, there we go. Ready, good boy? Good enough. That I mean, everybody probably does this, right? Everybody does this. Yeah, they do. Oh, sorry, good boy. That I want to put myself out there as real as I can, right? And I want to go get it. And I want to do minimal editing on my footage, and well, basically, the reason I'm recording this is like, here I am, right? I'm doing this thing, this effect that every time I do a weird like thing where I realize I'm making commentary or out loud, right, for the benefit of you watching this, I do this thing where I edit it and I make it black and white and I zoom it in a little bit, maybe a little bit of movement, because it makes people go, oh, he's thinking of things. And I'm doing the thing right now where I'm playing to you guys, because in my head, I'm playing a character. And that is interesting, right? Isn't that why it's so hard to be objective with your own self on any?
I think it's very plausible that he is an INFJ, but I also think it's plausible that he's an INFP. Not because INFPs and INFJs are similar, but because INFPs will display as any number of different things. I think he's more likely an INFP than an INFJ, but I haven't eliminated INFJ from the possible list here. So let's see what he has to say. He could be ISFP too, but he seems to have a fair amount of NE. But he also seems to have a fair amount of NI. I don't know. I'm confused by him a little bit. Let's let him proceed.
That you literally cannot be. Your entire experience in reality is your subjective experience of reality. And like, as I'm saying things to you here, I'm perceiving myself doing so, and I'm anticipating what things I can say, and I'm picking and choosing, and I'm usually turning it on, right? I turn it on. I turn the light here so I get lit up, right? And then I try to not have too much of a mess behind me because it's usually a pigsty back. Oh, hi, doggy. I try not to get too emotional about my dog on video because, you know, I don't know why. That's not very real, right? But is it? Because, like, don't we all play different roles of ourselves, all different characters all day long when we're around different people? So it's hard. It's hard to know. I know, good boy. I know. There you go. It's hard to know what is your real self. Am I the person that I'm saying I am on here? Or am I the person that you perceive me to be more than I am the person that I think I am? Probably. Or am I somewhere in between? Am I both, right? Am I, I don't know, something else? I don't know. But what I'm doing by recording this here handheld, right, is I'm trying to, and I'm not stopping the video. See, I'm at like 3:30 here on this clip. I'm not stopping it because my dog is trying to play with me, making all these noises with his ball. Wait, go get it. Go get it. I'm trying to be real here. I'm trying to, and I can tell by the way I'm talking, this is the voice I use when I'm talking to very specific people. Oof. How are you feeling, good boy? You okay?
I think he's an INFJ. He's a weird one, though. He's doing a lot of metacognition here, you know, and I think he's an intuitive. I'm pretty sure he's an intuitive. For a second there, I was toying with, like, maybe ESTP. For a very brief second early on, I was toying with ISTP, but he's got too much NE. ESTPs might potentially have that much NE, but it could just be INFJ style NE, which is, it's NI driven. It seems NI. The way his steadiness of his gaze, the deliberateness of what he's doing, and then at other moments he seems NE when he's coming up with possibilities. And you heard him come up with a couple, and he's like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter. It's an extra thing I don't really need. Which I might do as well. But that suggests potentially we're both intuition doms. And if he's an intuition dom, he's an INFJ. Because he's not any other intuition dom. He's not an INTJ, and he's not an ENTP, and he's not an ENFP. So I'm actually sort of leaning towards INFJ, which is surprising. I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah, okay. Give me the ball. He's okay, I promise. Okay? Yeah.
He doesn't look like one, you know?
The voice that I use when I'm explaining things to clients, or the voice that I use when I'm in meetings, presenting stuff, it's very different than the voice that I use when I'm talking to a friend, or I'm talking to my significant other, or to my family. Those are all different voices. And I don't just mean voices in, like, literally my voice. I mean, like, the expression that I give, the amount of emotion that I portray. I think when I'm usually turning it on, so to speak, I'm usually going like this, and I'm using more hand gestures, and I communicate more with body language and emphasis on words so that people can really kind of come along with me and go for the journey. And my dog is cool and funny and silly. Look at that.
That's a lot of FE awareness. I think I probably do vary my delivery and presentation to different groups of people a little bit, but I bet if you asked most people, they would say, no, he's pretty much consistent amongst all the different people he's around, except maybe his parents. I'm around my elderly father. I tend to be both deferential and more of a listener. I listen to him tell me stories about whatever he wants to talk about. He gets a lot of satisfaction from being able to tell stories in social settings, and I just want to do that for him, be a good listener and stuff. But besides that, I would say that I probably display very similarly regardless of who I'm talking to, and most people would probably agree with that statement. So the thing is, this person is highly metaphysical. They're highly, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not absolutely sure. There's some SE qualities about it, about what he's doing there. But you'll note that he's doing analysis of what he's doing as he's doing it. He's metaing up in that fashion. That sort of meaning making, driving the content, is suggestive of INFJ or ENTP. So it's not definitive, but I'm gonna give him the end of this video, and then I'll be done and probably let him go, regardless, because I don't know what he self-identifies as. He didn't get to that until the end here, I guess.
But that voice, shifting into that voice, it's like a playful, extroverted type of voice of some sort. And I just find it interesting. I'm watching myself here and I'm going, ugh. I don't know. I not that I judge it, maybe a little. I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm preaching, and the confidence of what I actually have is like here, but I think the way I'm presenting myself is somewhere around here, and that discrepancy bothers me. I want to be accurate. That's important. But I know that if I try to be accurate, I'm never going to put a video out. I know that I would have never.
That sounds like third slot TI. Let me put it at normal speed. This is the thing. He feels so much like a quadrumate, and I don't think he is. That also suggests INFJ.
But I think the way I'm presenting myself is somewhere around here, and that discrepancy bothers me. I want to be accurate. That's important. But I know that if I try to be accurate, I'm never going to put a video out. I know that I would have never recorded my first video in this experiment, this series of trying to put myself out there and challenge my comfort zones and all that stuff. So this part of this video here right now is I guess it's another layer that I'm trying to peel. It's like another depth of that of ounce more of vulnerability, of like trying to expose myself. See, even there, I'm doing that laugh. Come on. And I do these things. I do half of these with new people and people I'm trying to like engage and whatever. But I don't know.
I'm pretty sold on his INFJ hood. I could be wrong, but I'm definitely not arresting him. So, have a nice evening. What's your name again? Trickyrickyii. Trickyrickyii. Okay, trickyrickyii. I like you. You're interesting. You're likable. I think you're an INFJ. Thanks for watching Type Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police, Type Police, please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me.